My name's Killgore. We own and operate Killgore Adventures. My family's been here since the late 1800s. We came here on the Oregon Trail from Missouri, settled here, and ended up raising fruit, peaches mostly, and that's where we sit today in this old fruit stand. That's where we operate out of. And we've done a lot of different things, but the fruit business was first, and my dad and mom got into excavation, and we always like to say we traded dirt for water when we started this because we wanted to stay home. We know it's just such a cool place where we live and get to be, and that was the key, is we got to stay home and operate right out of here. So we started doing tours and fishing and hunting, and it's just been evolving ever since. We're still growing, basically, but it's been a heck of a ride, and it's fun to have people come and visit the area and go do all the adventures that we do. And shoot, couldn't be happier with the way we're headed, and that's about that. Growing up here, Idaho County, to me, is kind of a big deal, and being born and raised on the Salmon River, because you just inherently get a certain set of skills. You're going to be an outdoorsman. You're going to be skilled at a lot of things that other people aren't, just because of what we have to do around here. It's not like we're going to basketball games and hockey and all the other things you can do in a city. You're going to be an outdoorsman almost whether you like it or not. So yeah, we have millions of acres of public land all around us. We have these two powerhouse rivers, and when you're born and raised on the Salmon River, you just get to experience it all and learn a lot of different skills, catching fish, hunting, you name it, we do it. I bought this first little 21-foot jet boat, brought it home. We started jet boat, and my parents were like, what the heck, And we had a lot of fun with it, and it just started growing, and I'd go a little further each weekend, take on a little piece of water. But that's the thing, back to what we were talking about earlier, is like I'd been tubing Whitebird Creek as a kid, my whole life. So really, when I got into jet boat, it wasn't that big of a difference. It was like, hey, I don't want to hit my knee on a rock like I've done before, and I can see the rock, so I'm still playing the same game, just on a bigger level. So yeah, we got that jet boat, and it started going, having so much fun. I lived in Lewiston at the time, but I obviously wanted to move home. I was like a bobcat in the cage, in the city. That didn't work out for the long term. I knew I had to be back to Salmon River. And anyway, I got back, and my parents and I decided, heck, let's make a go of this. And we were going to start 4 businesses at once and try to make a living here and not have to be everywhere. So we were going to do excavation, which we always did, run some cows, sell some equipment, and also do these big game hunts and jet boating. And so we did, and that's exactly what happened, and we started going. And that's how our partnership started, was we sold that little boat that I had and bought a bigger boat and partnered together on it, because you get a boat, you get a lot of friends, and pretty soon you need a bigger boat. So that's what happened, and we started going, and my dad and I, the real epiphany, I guess, was when we were on an excavation job over on the border of Montana. I would call my mom on the payphone at night at the Loxaw Lodge and tell her how the job was going, and we'd started it all at once, So she said, well, one of the nights I called, she says, you're gonna have to come home. We got 6 people that wanna go on the jet boat tour. And I was like, what jet boat tour? She's like, I put up a website, and I'm like, a website? And this is back when they were just starting to pop,
Yeah.
And so anyway, I was like, okay. She's like, yeah, they're gonna pay $100 a piece, and I'm making lunches right now. You need to start heading this way. It was a 5-hour drive, and I was like, okay. So I drive home and didn't know what the heck I was doing, and took them on a boat ride up to Granite Creek and back, and the people had a blast. Got my first tip, and it was just a great time, great feeling. And then that really turned the light on. Well, the next night I drove back to Montana border that night. The very next night, she called, I called her again. She's like, I got 6 more people standing here ready to do this jet boat tour. And that's when we were like, okay,
Yeah.
this is getting kind of worth paying attention to. Navigating tour boats through the Wild River section of Hell's Canyon is definitely not easy, and there's only a handful of people that can really consistently do it successfully all the time. What it takes, I think, is just kind of an intangible thing. You know, it's like you don't want somebody who's been safe their whole life. You want somebody who's, you know, you used to wheelie their dirt bike as a kid. You know, you want that aspect, a little bit of a daredevil that can do things, you know, that are risky, but then take that risk for the customer and make it almost nothing. You know, and that's the way I view my job, is to take them, you know, safety first, but then extreme fun second. And riding that line is very, very challenging at times. The next chapter for our company, it's going to be awesome. And you know what? It's actually close to a 20-year-old plan. We always knew we were going to end up here on the highway. My grandpa's old fruit stand, this is where we sit today. This was the peach cooler, that was the fruit stand over there. We wanted to make it a basically Idaho's #1 stop, and something that can be offered to a roadside traveler or someone from here could come in and experience big adventure, whether they planned ahead or not. You know, and helicopter tours is on the realm, coming soon, and then short jet boat tours right around here on the Salmon, so that the time is a big deal. They can experience extreme fun in a short amount of time, and then if they want to stay and go do our bigger trips, that's perfect too. I hear a lot that it was just one of the best days of their life, and so that couldn't be any better. And really, I just hope they take away the fact that they want to come back and bring their friends, and that happens all the time. And that's probably the best feeling, knowing that they want to come back again and show off what this, you know, awesome area has to offer, and us being a part of it is pretty awesome.